that when you harvest your beets, you can also eat the entire plant, not just the roots. A perfect use for beet greens is to put in a smoothie, which makes a great breakfast or lunch. So we're gonna make a smoothie right now. I'm just gonna tear off some beet greens from these beets. You can also put the beet in, but it does make the smoothie taste a little bit like a beet. So we're gonna set aside these beet greens, and then we're gonna go through our other vegetables and decide what else to add today. Usually that is based on what you have available. So let's do some carrots. Carrots are really, really nice in a smoothie. And one thing with carrots is you are gonna wanna chop them into smaller pieces so that it's a little bit less work in your blender. So we've got a carrot over here. Let's try a nice cucumber. Again, you're gonna wanna just chop some cucumber, put your the rest aside. I think we should add some fruit today. So I brought an apple from my tree at home, but of course there are lots of apples available, all different colors and flavors from the farmer's market in your grocery store. So you can just choose whatever kind of apple you want to use, and you want to cut that into little pieces. Let's do a peach. This is sort of the last of the peaches. This one has a little bit of bruising inside, which probably means it's a little overripe and has been tossed around, but that's fine because it's going to be all blended up. As a matter of fact, sometimes, this is a perfect use for imperfect fruits and vegetables. So this carrot looks really lovely from this side, but when you turn it around, it's cracked open. It's been in the ground too long. So that's fine. You can just cut the edges of the carrot off and go ahead and chop that up. And now it's gonna go in your smoothie. You can use the rest of this for soup or something like that. Put it in the compost, feed it to your bunnies, whatever works for you. So we're getting a nice little collection of fruits over here. Maybe we should also use a pear. This is a lovely pear that we got at the store because that might be your situation. You're gonna add some fruit from the store. This is a pear from my tree. It's been picked a while ago and it's a little overripe, but again, that's a perfect use for a wrinkly, sad pear that you might not wanna just eat out of hand. And then we're left with the leafy greens. There are so many leafy greens besides the beet greens that work really well in a smoothie. Kale is kind of the standard. And there are all different kinds of kale that you might have growing in your garden right now. So your regular Tuscan kale, a Siberian kale, scarlet kale with this beautiful red stem. These will all offer a little bit of a different nutritional profile in terms of vitamins and minerals, but they all have a pretty mild flavor. Other greens are this really interesting Asian green. You can use bok choy. This is called senkozai, which is a hybrid of a cabbage and a mustard spinach, but any kind of mild tasting Asian green would be fine. And then of course the giant collard greens where the leaves are the size of my head. These work really, really well in a smoothie. The stems can be a little bit tough, so you can just pull them apart like that. And you can just rip them. You don't have to chop. Your hands are fine for your ripping apart of your collard greens. Chard is another great green that you can use. Of course, chard and beet are related, so the flavor will be pretty similar. But all different kinds of chard you can use. The bright lights, these are some baby chard leaves, which are nice and tender. And some people really like how creamy a banana will make a smoothie. So we're gonna go ahead and add some banana to this so that it has a really nice flavor. I like to put the soft materials down at the bottom. That gives the blender something to grab onto and start to work with, and then the harder things higher up. So we're gonna add our beet greens and our chard. This is such an incredibly nutritious and energizing breakfast to have. I've been having these probably 300 days a year since I bought my blender in 2016. So that's a really great way to get in all these fruits and veggies. Now I'm throwing in my carrots and my cucumbers and my chopped apples. Get it nice and full. That's probably a pretty good amount. Then you want to think about adding healthy fats and proteins. You could just do this and put in water and blend it up, and you would have a fabulous tasting healthy breakfast. But you can add something that will make it kind of stick to your ribs a little bit longer, so that comes in the form of protein. You can use something like yogurt. Any flavor, I prefer the plain. If you want it sweeter, of course you could use like a strawberry yogurt or something like that. So I'm gonna add in some yogurt. This is gonna be so good. Another kind of protein that you can use, of course, is protein powder. So if you happen to have a favorite protein powder on hand, you can put a scoop or two every morning, and that again will just make it last a little bit longer and sustain you longer into the day. And then for liquid, we already said you can use water. Water is free and it's great in your smoothie, but if you want a little bit more substantial liquid, you can use an almond milk or a hemp milk or an oat milk or dairy milk, anything like that. And you're gonna, for this size blender, I'm gonna add at least a cup. You really need a good amount of liquid to sort of absorb all of these elements. Now, I am going to blend it up and we will see how it goes. Okay, now we're going to take the lid off and see how it tastes. Cup. Pour this out. It smells really, really good. It's a little chewy. You might want to blend it a little bit more than I did if you want it to have a smoother consistency. I don't mind a little bit of chewing because it reminds me that I'm eating healthy vegetables. So that's how you make a breakfast smoothie. And thanks for joining us for this little demonstration. Now I want to point out that we are in our brand new commercial kitchen in the Education Cottage at Wasatch Community Gardens campus. And this kitchen will enable us moving forward to do these kinds of demonstrations in our classes and workshops. We'll be able to provide healthy snacks to our program participants, and it will really bring the eat part of our mission, which is to empower people to grow and eat healthy, organic, local food. It will bring that eat part of the mission to the forefront, so that we're not only teaching people how to grow healthy, organic, local food, but to prepare it in their home. Thanks for watching and for being a partner with us as we bring more of this kind of programming to the community. Please support Wasatch Community Gardens by making a gift this Giving Tuesday.